Hello, I'm Usma Naeem, the Dorothy Wagner Wallace Director of the Baltimore Museum of Art and a proud alumna of the Johns Hopkins University. I was a double major in political science and art history, and I can't believe I'm saying this, but I graduated almost 32 years ago in 1991. I'm delighted to join you for this Hopkins at Home program and give you a glimpse of what will be a treat for you all, a major groundbreaking exhibition, Making Her Mark, A History of Women Artists in Europe, 1400 to 1800, currently on view here at the BMA. This is the singular most comprehensive exhibition of European women artists from the pre-modern era. It brings together 235 exceptional works of art, craft, and design by women artists who worked during a time that has largely equated artistic excellence with men. This project has been 4 years in the making as a team of women curators led by the BMA senior curator Andalee Banta and Alexa Greist from the Art Gallery of Ontario searched collections throughout North America and Europe to uncover works by both named and unnamed women artists, many of whom received little recognition during their lifetime, and indeed to this day. As a result of their efforts, the history of European art has literally been turned on its head. This exhibition amply demonstrates that women artists were neither rare nor less talented than their male counterparts. It also challenges long-held beliefs and assumptions about art by placing what has traditionally been lauded as high art, painting, drawing, printmaking, sculpture, and the decorative arts, alongside those typically cast as craft or material culture, such as embroidery, paper cutting and rolling, and lace making. Additionally, Making Her Mark counters the narrative of the singular genius by showing that women artists worked collaboratively in a variety of spaces and contexts. As the head of workshops and businesses, making tapestries, making furniture, making ceramics, and making silver. As anonymized laborers in factory spaces. Additionally, Making Her Mark counters the narrative of the singular genius by showing that women artists worked in a variety of spaces and contexts, and truly collaboratively. As the head of workshops and businesses, making tapestries, furniture, ceramics, and silver. As anonymized laborers in factory spaces, at home, or within the walls of convents. Please join me today as I share a few of my favorite works from the exhibition and the artist who made them. The first is this grand painting by Italian artist Artemisia Gentileschi, one of the most famous painters of the 17th century. A masterpiece, Judith and Her Maidservant with the Head of Holofernes, created between 1623 and 1625, and now in the collection of the Detroit Institute of Arts, demonstrates Gentileschi's ability to convey intense drama through use of shadow, color, and light, much like her mentor, Caravaggio. Her portrayal of the popular biblical story highlights the tense moment when Judith and her maidservant attempt to escape with Assyrian general Holofernes' decapitated head in a sack. The painting features deep shadows thrown by a single candle's flame, obscuring the violent beheading here at the base, as well as extraordinary details such as the gruesome drops of blood on the knife. Gentileschi's early career was overshadowed by a sexual assault from her teacher and a subsequent trial, but she went on to become a major figure in the artistic world of Baroque Italy. She established herself as a court artist in Florence, Naples, and London, while also giving birth to and raising 5 children, and was among the first women accepted to the Academy in Florence. This extraordinary painting is presented in one of several galleries with works created before 1800 for those in power, noble courts, and the Catholic Church. Many women artists achieved success portraying ruling class sitters or historical or religious protagonists. And women makers also produced luxury objects for elite homes, such as lace, silver, and tapestries. Together, these works demonstrate the essential roles women played in the creation of a varied artistic form that conveyed and perpetuated power. Their accomplishments are even more impressive when you consider most women working in the arts before 1800 did not have official access to education or professional art training. And, like many women today, their artistic labor usually occurred in addition to their roles as household managers and mothers. Among the many surprises in making her mark is this curious object from the BMA's own collection, now shown in this gallery of works that relate to domestic life. This paper filigree cabinet on stand with hairwork and watercolor panels is a rare surviving piece of furniture decorated with paper filigree. It was created by Sophia Jane Maria Bonnell and her sister-in-law, Mary Ann Harvey Bonnell, around 1789. Very little is known about the Bonnells, but paper filigree or paper quilling was practiced by women across continental Europe and England from the 1400s to 1800s. From afar, this piece of furniture appears to have a handsome profile, but seems otherwise unremarkable. If you take a closer look, however, many surprising details emerge. They applied short rolled pieces of paper, one after another, that had been dyed or gilded to imitate other materials, in this case wood, veneer, or marquetry. The chest also features landscapes made with, believe it or not, hair, a medium also used in a nearby self-portrait by Mary Ann Harvey Bonnell. The sister-in-laws likely found the design in a period magazine, ordered the wood base from a cabinet maker, and purchased the paper from a specialty craft store. The exquisite workwomanship and excellent condition made this cabinet a great addition to the museum's growing collection of objects by women artists in every form of media. And it shows women's resourcefulness and power of invention. A series of galleries show how women artists contributed to increased knowledge about diverse species of plants and animals and established women's involvement in the fields of etymology, botany, zoology, and astronomy. This image features this highly detailed illustration of the life cycle of a hawk moth by German artist Maria Sibylla Merian. This work has probably the most difficult title to pronounce, Convolvulus and Metamorphosis of the Convolvulus Hawk Moth. Phew! It was created circa 1670 to 1683 and is on loan to us from the Cleveland Museum of Art. This engaging illustration of the life cycle of the moth is an intertwined vignette of insect and plant life. Marian's accurate and artistic depictions of both flora and fauna served as the basis of her deeply influential books on natural subjects that later informed the work of naturalists such as Carl Linnaeus. She began her obsession with butterflies when she was young, raising her own specimens to observe the life cycles and diets of different species while documenting them for over a decade. After marrying and having 2 daughters, Marian published her first book of natural illustrations in 1675 and an illustrated volume on caterpillars in 1679. She later moved with her daughter to the Dutch colony of Suriname, where enslaved people and indigenous women assisted in studying and identifying local insects for her illustrated book on the subject. Marian was a savvy businesswoman, funding her own publications through the sale of editions of her illustrations that her daughter helped to color. Ultimately, her life cycle images became a standard in scientific illustration and helped shape the field of entomology with her inclusion in a foundational reference text on insect metamorphosis. This largest section of the exhibition focuses on women artists as entrepreneurs, and there are many interesting works that show women's ingenuity in the business of art. French artist Marie-Victoire Lemoine primarily found success as a portraitist among Parisian nobility. She was born in Paris in 1754 to an artistic family and made her debut at the Salon in 1796, when she exhibited a cheeky painting that made a statement about her skill and the status and path for women becoming professional artists. Although restricted access to life drawing classes in the Academy made advancement difficult for many women, Lemoine regularly showed her work in Paris exhibitions and later at the state-sponsored Salon once it was opened to women. Lemoine remained unmarried and supported herself through her painting, not an easy status for a woman to maintain in the 18th century. Portrait of a Youth in an Embroidered Vest was painted in 1785 and is now in the collection of the Cummer Museum of Art and Gardens in Jacksonville, Florida. This is one of my favorites. This painting shows a well-dressed youth wearing a silver silk jacket that frames a lace necktie and an elaborately embroidered vest. Despite efforts to identify this sitter, a very handsome sitter, I should say, his name remains unknown. Some have proposed his identity is the Jacobin revolutionary Zamor, who was trafficked as a child from Bangladesh and enslaved in the household of Comtesse du Barry. Others suggest Scipio or Narcisse, enslaved members of the household of the Duchess d'Orléans, who was a patron of the artist. During this period, wealthy Europeans often dressed their enslaved servants in finery, presenting the wearer and their clothes as indicators of the owner's wealth. And I have a treat now for all of you dog lovers out there. This lovely life-size sculpture of a Maltese dog embodies British artist Anne Seymour Damer's skill at portraying her subjects with engaging, naturalistic detail. Damer was born into an aristocratic family and widowed at an early age, which enabled her to live an independent life that few women of the period could ever experience. She was also the goddaughter of notable politician and scholar Horace Walpole and came in contact with many leading academics and artists of the day at his famous Strawberry Hill estate. Damer traveled throughout Europe, portraying acquaintances from the literary and theatrical worlds and exhibiting her works at the British Royal Academy. Her neoclassical style and ability to produce naturalistic animal sculptures was particularly lauded, as was her skill in marble portraiture. This shock dog, nicknamed for a dog of the Maltese breed, was created around 1782 and was loaned for this exhibition from the Metropolitan Museum of Art, which received it as a gift purchase from the late TV newswoman Barbara Walters in honor of her dog, Cha-Cha. Deeply carved marble beautifully conveys the curls of the dog's rough coat, referred to as shock, producing a charming portrait of an attentive creature and finding its way into many hearts of our visitors here at the BMA. And now for all you cat lovers out there, you will appreciate The Tigress from circa 1798 by Mary Linwood, a British artist who became famous for her virtuosity in recreating famous paintings with needle and thread. This stunning needle painting, as she called them, from the Yale Center for British Art, recreates a painting by famed British artist George Stubbs with luminous embroidered details. Linwood toured an exhibition of her needle paintings throughout London, Scotland, and Ireland, and then opened a gallery in London that remained a major tourist attraction for more than 40 years. Last but not least, and I can't believe our time is coming to a close, I want to show you this extraordinary watercolor and gouache self-portrait that was recently added to the BMA's collection. Sarah Biffin was a British painter specializing in miniatures. She was born in 1784 with phocomelia, a condition that caused her to be born without arms or legs. Biffin taught herself to write, sew, and paint using her mouth, and began painting professionally at a young age. By the age of 13, she participated in a traveling show that toured across Britain, highlighting both her artistic talent and her physical disability. She gained her independence at the age of 29 and developed a popular following that included royal commissions. Biffen excelled at self-promotion and exhibited her work at the Royal Academy by strategically advertising her talents and her physical condition on the works themselves, indicating both her skills as an artist and as a savvy businesswoman. For this self-portrait from 1842, Biffen presents herself as past generations of professional artists have always done, wearing fine clothes and displaying an awarded medal. None of these details signal her status as a self-taught artist of working-class origins or her physical disabilities. Well, that's the end of our mini tour of Making Her Mark today. I hope you will come visit the BMA and see the many other wonderful artworks in this exhibition and the others throughout this beautiful museum. General admission is always free. Making Her Mark is a ticketed exhibition on view until January 7th, 2024. You can find more information, including hours and ticket availability, on our website, artbma.org. Thanks and take care. Bye.